I grew up in a family of 4, so I always had an idea that I wanted to have 4 kids.
After we had been married for 5 years, we had our first child, Betty, followed by Annie, and then Walter.
We were deciding if we were gonna have one more kid. And we were seasoned parents, so we thought, well, we can do 1 kid. We got pregnant, and when we went for the ultrasound, we were very surprised to find out that we were having 2 babies.
It was really shocking. Twins, I had no idea what to expect. It was like, I felt like having a baby for the first time.
We decided to have our babies at M Health Fairview Southdale because when we had our first babies, I had such an amazing experience at Southdale with the nurses and the postpartum and the labor and delivery units. And so it was just an obvious choice. The day that Sandy and Tripp were born, we were certainly not expecting having a baby that day. It was early October, and as I walked through the apple orchard, I was realizing that I was having contractions. But it was so early that I thought, oh, these babies aren't coming today.
As they were getting closer together, I said, well, we at least need to get you checked out.
We went to the hospital, and we checked in at the maternal assessment center. After being there for about 2 hours, they said, okay, these babies are coming today. There was a lot of emotion in the room, but I feel really grateful that I wasn't afraid.
The thing that's most surprising about the OR for a C-section was that it seemed like so calm, even though it was a difficult situation.
From the time that I was in the OR to both babies out was 26 minutes. I could hear their little cries, and that was the first time that I could tell they were very small. And it was hard to know how big a baby is when it's 3 pounds 11 ounces or 3 pounds 14 ounces. I brought the babies close to me and held them up enough that I could see their fuzzy head and I could see their faces. And they put them in a sweet bed and they rolled them out from the operating room over into the NICU. The babies were born at 30.5 weeks. And at Southdale, they have a room specially for twins. We could have a place to be together with both of the babies.
Preterm babies at 30 and some weeks, we worry about respiratory. So that's usually one of the biggest things is their respiratory support. And then we're growing them outside. And so making sure that they have the touch, the movements to help promote their growth.
Something that I loved that the NICU staff did was they made so many special NICU souvenirs. We would get to bring that home, and it was something that the kids treasured. The NICU also has the ability to set up iPads that have cameras over the babies so you can watch them all the time at home. And so our kids would wake up in the morning and see their babies on the screen. The NICU staff at Southdale made us feel so safe, and they made themselves so available and so accessible.
Hi, Josi. It's Dr. Esther. Just calling to update you this morning. I know they're doing great. Increased our percentages a little bit overnight.
I have on my phone some voicemails that come back and forth from the hospital.
Otherwise, no big changes. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
And from time to time, I'll replay a voicemail and just remember what it was like coming and going from the hospital. Everybody had their own gentle way to tell us that you were gonna have good days and you were gonna have bad days. And then if you're having a hard day, you can just let the nurses know.
Both of them would have like a really good day of eating, and they were like meeting all their milestones, and then totally fall off. And we had those stop and starts a few times.
I was walking into the hospital. One of the nurses who cared for us most often said, hey, I heard it's a great day. And I rounded the corner into our room, and one of our favorite nurses was there, Beth, and she said, it's Sandy's go home day. And it was just the most exciting feeling.
And Josi called and said, yeah, Sandy's gonna come home today. It's pretty cool. And then a week later, little Trippy came home too. And we were all together for the first time.
I remember teasing them, okay, we'll see you in a few years with another set. And they laughed, and we're done, 5 is enough. It was just exciting to see them and watch them leave. Proud moments when you get to see them all go home together.
It was 69 days for Sandy, and Tripp's stay was 75 days long. A ton of growth happened throughout the stay there. That took them from the 3.5 or 4 pounds that they were to almost 9 pounds when they left the NICU. Tripp and Sandy have each developed their own personality. Tripp loves to smile at new faces. He loves a crowd.
Likes the attention, and he likes to be, kind of the party.
And Sandy is our mellow one. She just is happy and easygoing.
They complement each other very well. Josi and I both are just so grateful for the team at the hospital at Southdale.
I'm so appreciative for the way that they cared for my babies. I was impressed at what an amazing team they are. It feels so good to be out of the hospital and have all of our kids and our 2 twins be healthy and thriving. They're growing, they're happy, they're eating. It feels amazing to imagine what comes next.